Hey. We are back. We had a nice week off, but it was a whole lot of sports that happened. We here, y'all here. I hope y'all ready because we got a lot to discuss. Let's go.
Shine through.
Welcome to the All Sports Matter podcast. I am your host, JB. We are here. We took a week off last week because we just had a whole lot of catching up to do. Because as y'all know, the week before that, we was in New Orleans on Bourbon Street. So we had to take a week off. And against y'all, but we had to do some things for ourselves. But with me again, I have two of my brothers because my other one is off being a world-class chef. So, Mr. Two Belts, Mr. Poppy Ortiz, y'all want to join me tonight?
What it do? Let's do this.
Yeah, just give me a second.
I tell you, you win a few games with Anthony Manning, boy, and you start acting all types of crazy. Wait a minute.
We got to.
I mean,
you can't recover if you're still going. That's all I'm saying.
Just going to street profits it.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Speaking of street profits, EST, let's go.
She ain't gonna see you, sir. She ain't gonna see you. Look. All right, so let's jump right into it. College football. The first poll is out, and it comes out with Tennessee at the top. How y'all feel about
that? The poll or Tennessee being at the top?
Well, first Tennessee and then first the poll and then Tennessee.
1 through 3, I have no issues with. Any combination of those three, I have no issues with. My issue comes at 4. There's no way Clemson should have been over Michigan.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
That's just my opinion on that. I mean, I don't think Clemson has done enough to trump the resume that Michigan has had so far this season.
Yeah, I don't know what happened and how that happened, but they go get found out real quick. So, Amir, what you think?
And I agree. I wish we would have waited one more week. Seeing as Tennessee's playing Georgia this weekend, obviously I know that's not the question. I get it, but Michigan has the same resume as Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? They play the same teams, Penn State, Wisconsin. Obviously not one or the other is going to make it at the end. It's either going to be Ohio State against Michigan. It's either going to be Georgia, Tennessee. And if Alabama runs the table, it's going to be Alabama at the end as well. So, you know what I'm saying? So we can keep talking back and forth about this. It's going to change once those teams beat each other. So, and the only thing left at the end is Clemson. We can hate on it all we want, but because they don't play anybody, and because USC and Oregon, all them, they crap the bed out there in the out west, and they not running the table. Clemson is going to be the only one that might run the table, other than whoever wins Michigan against Ohio State. We don't have to like it, and we don't, but those are facts. They're going to be standing strong because who's going to challenge them?
Yeah, that's true.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So basically, you're saying the other 4 that's up there in the top 5 is going to cancel each other out. So
that's why
Clemson is going.
Yeah, and that's why I might as well pencil them in now because they're going to be in the top 4. Because Syracuse is probably supposed to have been the toughest competition so far, and we're talking about Syracuse.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how we got left. North Carolina State, maybe. No, I think they already beat them. So it's just there's nobody left. Florida State, did they play Florida State yet?
Did
They might be the only team left.
I just don't. I don't know. I just don't trust. Like for me, and you're right. You're exactly right. Ohio State still has to play Michigan. Obviously, number 1 Tennessee's playing number 3 Georgia this weekend. So you're right. Those 4 teams are going to cancel each other out. But for me, it's the principle behind it. You know what I mean? Like, what is that saying when you got Clemson, who, like you just said, really hasn't played anybody other than what, Syracuse?
Right.
And you said that right. It's Syracuse. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, how did they jump Michigan with the resume that Michigan has so far?
I feel like they did it with strength of remaining schedule, along with strength of who, what the conference has done and what the team has been doing. I feel like they did it sort of like that because they know that these other 4 are going to cancel themselves out. And like Amir said, they probably should have waited another week until after, you got Tennessee and Georgia, so you can kind of see what was going to be fleshed out with that. Which even with that, whoever loses that game, I don't see them dropping out of the top 5 at this point, because I mean, you either lose to the number 1 or the number 3 team. So I don't see you dropping that far if you lose that game.
If Georgia loses at number 3, they're definitely, like, Alabama dropped to 6 after their loss to Tennessee. You know what I mean? So they're going to at least be behind Alabama. Then you still got an undefeated Michigan, an undefeated Clemson, undefeated Ohio State. Whoever wins, they're going to still be undefeated. So that's
right.
5 right there. So they're going to at least be 6.
6. Okay, 6.
I think they'll drop out completely. Not by me completely the top 6. You got a team like TCU, who we haven't really mentioned. They're unbeaten until they're not, right?
Yeah.
So, I think they're being left out right now. I think they can easily sneak in if this SEC mess up goes the way we think it is, i.e., Georgia losing to Tennessee. We all know if Tennessee loses, we all know based on history, Tennessee might be out of the top 6. If Georgia loses, they're going to use that game against Missouri where they should have lost. They're going to be out the top 6. Now, Alabama will jump in the top 4. TCU would jump in there somehow, and they're going to justify Clemson and Ohio State being 1 and 2 because, they're going to justify Clemson being Clemson. And we're going to wait till Ohio State play Michigan. So SEC is going to be a carousel with those 3 teams.
And I think with me, with the TCU, it's who do you have left? Do you have anybody on your schedule left that's gonna build your resume? The only team that they got left, that's even worth mentioning is Texas.
Right.
But he still got a Big 12 game, championship game as well, where anything can happen, in that regards. But you have to, based upon history, if they run the table in the Big 12, they have to be top 4. Just because we haven't really seen it, and in the past,
do they have to?
Now, granted, when Oklahoma did it, they were number 4. When Oklahoma did it again, they were number 4. I'm trying to find other teams that have done it, but now I think about it, nobody else has done it.
And that's what I'm getting at. Like,
all the times Oklahoma has done it, they've been in the top 4.
Now,
A&M, I think did it one time, maybe, and they got them there.
Now, I will give you this: if TCU does run the rest of their schedule, and that includes Big 12 championship game, and you got 2-1, let's say Tennessee beats Georgia this weekend, and then in the SEC championship game, Alabama beats Tennessee. I think Tennessee doesn't make that top 4. If you still got an undefeated TCU, obviously Ohio State, Michigan, the winner of that game, and then Clemson.
So you don't think an SEC team will be in the top 4?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there won't be 2 in the top 4.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Well, we can assume that the winner of this Tennessee-Georgia game will be in the final playing against Alabama.
Right. And that's why I said if Alabama beats that team, I think that team drops out.
And Alabama.
Obviously, whoever wins, if Georgia or Tennessee beats Alabama in the SEC,
championship,
we just won't see
Alabama's not getting
one
loss.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay. We all together. We all together. But hell, talking about running the tables, you know, because it's been a lot of talk about this recently. What's happening in Philadelphia with the Eagles?
They're not going 17-0. If that's what you're asking.
I'm just saying, can they run the table? We talk about running the table.
Well,
I don't.
I like how you've been working on your transition game.
I try to do it. I was practicing in the mirror today. You know, just making sure I was good.
No, I'm gonna let Amir take that one because he put up a pretty interesting meme.
So
meme.
I had to do it that way because if I post saying my opinion, which matches that meme, I'm a hater. Okay,
I saw the meme.
We know that anyway.
I believe the Eagles are talented enough, you know, to be even the best of teams in the NFC. Okay, I think we have such a weak NFC that this good of an Eagles team or this semi-good of a Cowboys team or even above average Giants team, as you can see, there's nobody else left really unless somebody gets hot towards the end of the season. You know, like
make a killer trade for a running back.
Green Bay went through it towards the end and won it. When the Giants went through and went on that 2011 team. These were wild card teams, and they got hot towards the end and won it, just like your 49ers did last year. Right. They got hot towards the end of the season. Obviously, they fell short. But I still think out of those top teams, you're still going to see a couple teams fix their problems. And I think one is going to be the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think they can fix their problems. They have enough talent at the Bucks, enough talent and a crappy division that they can fix their problems, finish fast towards the end, and be dangerous in playoffs. Like, I don't want to see as a wild card team or as a division leader playing Tampa Bay and Tom Brady in the first round of playoffs. I don't. So I think, I know I'm getting a little bit off subject here, but what I'm saying is the Eagles, going back, the Eagles haven't played anybody, and I don't think they'll play anybody until, Christmas Eve when they play the Bills, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's when they're playing, right?
Yeah. No, they don't play the Bills.
Who they play?
They play the Cowboys.
They play the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Okay. They play the Cowboys.
Right. And see, hey, look, let me cut you off there because a couple of weeks before that, Tennessee comes in the tank. And I think one thing, I think one thing that Houston did that shined a light on how to beat Philly is gash them on the ground. They could not stop Houston on the ground. They couldn't. I mean, Damian Pierce was running all over them. They couldn't stop the run game. And I think NFL teams are going to look at that, and they're going to use that as the blueprint to eventually get Philly. They got, Washington, Indy, Green Bay, Tennessee, the Giants. So one of those two games, I think they'll catch an L, maybe both, because both those teams run the ball and run the ball at an elite level. Philly can't stop the run. I don't know if it was because Jordan Davis was out last night. You know, the big defensive tackle in the middle. I don't know if that was why.
That's the middle of that defensive line, though.
But, I mean, they got gashed. Like, Damian Pierce was running all over them boys last night, man.
Right. And like Nicholas Morgan said, you know, Philly played a weak schedule, and y'all said it too. And I agree with you, Amir, that Tampa Bay will probably turn it on here at the back half of the season, because nobody knew what was going on with Tom Brady at the beginning of the season, and then it comes out, oh, we got a divorce. All is over with now, so now you ain't got nothing but angry Tom Brady. Yeah, he's 57 years old, but I mean, what he got on his mind now? His kids taken care of. He know where they at. He ain't worrying about his now ex-wife, whether or not they go get a divorce. He not fighting no court battle. So I think Tom Brady about to start being Tom Brady again, and people might have to start watching out. So I think you're right on that. Tampa Bay is going to turn it around in the back half of the season and start making some type of noise and make it to a wild card. Or win the division.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
terrible.
Everybody in that division is terrible.
That's a terrible division. Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are at the top of the division, by the way. So
at what, 4-3? 4-3?
4-4.
4-4?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're terrible. My team lost to them, so I feel terrible too.
Yeah, Amir still hates you for that.
I'll take it. I'll take all that. But let's run down a few of the trades. So we got Roquan. That's how you say it, Roquan Smith. He went to the Ravens, right? I feel like
I like that.
I feel like that's a good move for the Ravens.
I mean, they needed that man in the middle that they really haven't had since C.J. Mosley left. That defense is going to be nasty with Roquan in the middle.
It is, but they still need wide receivers. I mean, yeah, they signed Deshaun Jackson.
I said the defense. I ain't say nothing about that offense.
Right. No, I'm saying, yeah, they building up the defense, but they ain't got nothing happening on offense. So, I mean, Deshaun Jackson is there, but is he? Exactly. So, they might do something. TJ Hawkinson. What's going on with the Detroit football Lions? Are they just gonna move that team? Can they take
that one? That one was the shocker of.
That one was a head scratcher.
You send
on the Lions
your tight end to a division rival. I don't understand what the problem is.
I guess this is me trying to understand their rationale. Is okay. We're basically smack dab in the middle of trying to build this team back up. He's about to go into what I think he's on his 5th-year option, if I'm not mistaken.
He is.
He's going to get ready to get a payday.
But
is he an elite tight end? Is he not an elite tight end? Like where do we rank him amongst the top tight ends in the league?
Going into last season, everybody, including myself, had him top 5 tight end.
Right, and right now he's probably
him at 5. 10. But he had nobody to throw it to, and then they went and got Jared Goff, and we're like, what happened there?
But he had stats before that.
Right, he still had a good season.
So he had somebody to throw it to him.
Right, but I don't have a problem with them trading him.
It's just where he went.
Right, you trade him within the division. So, and you said you're trying to find rationale and all this stuff. I'm telling you, if you try to go down that rabbit hole with dealing with the Detroit Lions, you will lose your mind. So don't try to find rationale for them because they are crazy. They had 3 Hall of Famers that they sat there and wasted away. 2 of them retired because they just didn't want to be there no more, and they finally just let Matthew Stafford go so he can win the Super Bowl. So don't try to find rationale with the Detroit Lions. Let's try to get them moved. I'm gonna start a petition. I'm not a Lions fan. I don't care, but I'm gonna start a petition because y'all wasting these people's career in Detroit.
They got a 2 and a 3 that from the Vikings that the Vikings are gonna have to play against too.
When you start rebuilding and start competing, like these guys been in rebuild mode since Calvin Johnson left.
I was about to, since Barry Sanders left.
So, but I said somebody asked the Browns that who had the number 1 pick for 17 consecutive years and took a quarterback every time, and still nothing happened of it. Who is Mr. COD to you, Mitches?
That's Davis. What up, Double D?
Double quadruple D. He up in here.
I think one thing that we didn't discuss, and I believe we should, and a perfect segue to what we discussed earlier with the Eagles, as far as I don't see a dominant team. Yes, I see the Eagles at 8-0, but I still don't see them dominant in the NFC. Any team could still come out of that. But putting a Hawkinson with a Justin Jefferson, an Adam Thielen, and a Dalvin Cook, and a KJ Osborne who has stepped up as a number 3, Minnesota quite possibly. outside of Kirk Cousins has a top offense. You know, I just hope. I don't trust Cousins in prime time. He never wins in prime time. But
Cousins
and every
doesn't
playoff
trust
prime
Cousins in
time.
prime time.
So
You know
but I
that's
like that offense. I like, you know, who are you going to stop? You can stop one, and the other two is going to go off. The other three is going to go off.
right.
I like that what Minnesota is doing right now.
You're right,
And that's what I was about to say. I like that trade from Minnesota side.
no, it's a great trade for Minnesota, and that's the same.
Right.
The question you just asked in the scenario you just brought up, Amir, is the same thing people always say about the 49ers. You got McCaffrey, you got Debo, you got Kittle, you got Ayuk, but you got Garoppolo at quarterback, and he's a game manager, but he can't get the ball out of his hands. It's the same thing with Kirk Cousins. The bright lights get on him, and he kind of shrinks. So as long as he don't have a primetime game, he might be all right.
I was about to say Kirk Cousins will go 17-0 if he doesn't play any games in prime time.
If all his games at noon, he in there. But if he got to play at night, no. I think he's secretly afraid of the dark. He don't want to tell nobody.
He's camera shy.
It's too many eyes. That's what it is. I got you. It's
too many eyes on him. Yeah.
Octa D is in the building.
Or he can't play outside of playing under the sun. Sun
true.
Go down, Kirk Cousins go down. It might be a correlation there.
He don't have. He got solar panels. That's what it is. We figured it out, Amir. He got solar panels on his helmet, and that's what gives him the energy. So once the sun go down, he can't do it no more. He need to get some moon panels so it might can help him. Chase Claypool went to the Bears.
That one was another head scratcher because what are the Bears doing?
Right.
You're tearing your team down, and then you go and trade a premium pick for a receiver that's good but not great.
Right. Like I feel like you're trying to get your
quarterback
help. You're trying to get your quarterback help, but you're also murdering your defense. So are you in a rebuild or are you not? So are you rebuilding the defense and you just trying to piece together the offense? What's I don't
maybe they're trying to see what they got in Justin Fields.
And that's exactly why they got Chase. I'm glad you finally hit the nail on the head. That's the reason they got him. Now they won't go get a quarterback in the offseason or in the heavy quarterback draft that's about to come out. There's like 5 top projected quarterbacks coming out in the draft.
Right.
They feel as though if Justin Fields has his weapons, that then he can draft defensive heavy, that he can sign free agent heavy.
I can see that.
That's why they did what they did. They giving Justin Fields everything he needs to say, this better not be you. That's the problem.
Right.
And we've seen the last 3 games. He's been top 5 in quarterback performance the last 3 games. Justin Fields can get up there, and then he'll crap the bed, when all the pressure's on him. So the Bears are saying, here are the keys to the franchise. We're getting you a wide receiver. Yes, you said it's above average. Claypool can be a good to great wide receiver.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's good, but not great.
When focused. I think Tomlin was just too hard on him. Tomlin didn't get him with his TikTok dances and his celebration and his live. Tomlin was like, okay, that's enough. We got Pickens. We can get rid of you.
Right. Because
so he was expendable. Yeah, he was expendable in Pittsburgh. So I think Chicago is all in on Justin Fields this year and next year. And if Justin Fields doesn't perform these next 2 seasons, then they could rewrite their franchise. Because that division somewhat is still up for grabs. Minnesota's not that far up. Green Bay is sliding, and Chicago are what, 4-4 now, 3-5, somewhere around there. They're still fighting for a playoff spot. Chicago can do some damage.
They can.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No.
I was about to change the subject completely. I was about to talk about teams that need quarterbacks who don't have first round picks, but go ahead. I was just being petty.
Let's go.
I was just being petty. Because I was talking about the Saints. I wanted to be petty about them real quick because you only got no first round pick, and Mike Thomas can't stay on the field because you can't guard Mike. So, but
look, you joke on the Saints. Outside of one game, Dalton really hasn't been that bad.
Yeah,
outside of that one game where he threw like 4 interceptions.
And two of them wasn't his fault. They went right through what you call it hands.
He really hasn't been that bad.
The boy Callaway, number one, yeah, it went right through his hands. So, but is he the long-term solution though?
Absolutely not.
So they definitely need to take a quarterback, but we'll see. The Bears are a mess. We just finished.
Dalton wasn't supposed to be the solution. It was supposed to have been healthy James Winston.
Right. Yeah.
And he can't stay healthy or
Winston's been healthy like the last couple of games, and Dalton has still started.
He's been a healthy scratch because I mean, if I'm in practice and Dalton has been doing what we need Dalton to do, he's been managing it. He's been, getting where we need to get, even though we've been losing. I still feel more confident and comfortable with him in there driving as opposed to putting Winston back in there and he wasn't able to get things done. And also, I mean, he had broken bones in his back. Is he really fully healed?
According to the Saints, he is.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not a doctor. I'm not in the Saints building.
You know how you feel if
your back. I can only go off of what they're putting out.
Right, but you know how you feel
if
you pull a muscle in your back, you know how long it takes for it to get back right?
Oh, I know.
So
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I don't understand.
I wish Octa D was on our show right now so he can explain how the Raiders are on the field on a bye week, because I can't explain how they laid a goose egg against the Saints out of all teams.
Oof.
I'm not understanding at all how that game happened.
They need to still be running suicides right now.
And with that being said, the Saints are still only one game behind the lead, the first place. So anything is possible, right? Like I said, a team gets hot towards the end. Why not the Saints? Again, they were only one game away from the playoffs last year. I need you to explain. I'm glad you chimed in. And DD asked a question. He's on his YouTube, so you guys can't see it in public. But he asked the question, what you need me to explain. If you type in that essay of what went wrong with the Raiders, I would gladly reiterate to the masses for you, DD, on what is going on.
Is he near Raiders? Is he near?
I just hit him up to see if he's able to come on. We'll
circle back
and we'll circle back
on it and we'll circle back around.
If he can get in, we'll circle back.
So let's encircling. Let's talk about the big trade. So it seems like the Dolphins are all in right now, right? You go out there, you get Jeff Wilson, and then you get a Bradley Chubb, not necessarily in that order. And as soon as you get Bradley Chubb, you immediately sign him to a 5-year, $119 million extension. Or at what point are you gonna? Is the conversation going to say the Dolphins are one of the favorites to come out of the AFC?
It's already there. It came out this week. Your star, well, not just star, but your heritage quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, suggested why not talk about the Super Bowl. I believe those words shouldn't have came out of his mouth. But he was asked this week, are you guys playing for a Super Bowl? He said, why not? Why not talk about it? Why not? Obviously, I get it. In theory, that's everybody's goal. I know, I get that. I said, in theory, that's everybody's goal. If you're not playing for Super Bowl, what you're playing for? I get that. But those words usually don't come out of the player's mouth outside of what we're playing for. He went in specifically saying, of course we're talking about the Super Bowl. No, he's a PR. Somebody should be tugging on his shirt as a PR saying, you don't say it like that.
If he would have said anything other than that, we would have been like, so what are you playing for?
No, and I get that.
You would have been leading the charge.
I don't know. I can play in Madden right now, and he can get a concussion just based upon me playing Madden off of Tua.
But again, what is he supposed to say though? How should he have said it then?
If I'm saying exactly like you said, what else are we playing for? And then left it alone. That's it. He just kept going. Of course, we're talking about it. Of course, we're discussing it. Of course, you know what I'm saying? Just okay, we get your point. But yes, they beat the Bills. Let's say that. They beat the Bills when they were complete, and they could beat them again. They're that good. but are they good enough to overtake the division now? Are they? The Bills got an easy schedule at this point going forward. They beat all the tough teams, which is crazy to me. But the AFC is the hardest thing to conquer. You know, NFC not so much. The AFC, I believe it has 4 teams that can go, to the Super Bowl.
Now, in talking about the Dolphins, let's look at what the 49ers gave up for Trey Lance. You got Jalen Waddle.
Oh,
Right? You got Jalen Waddle. You got
Hey,
you got. Hold on, we got us a special guest.
we got breaking news.
Octa D.
What's good, fellas? What's good?
What's going on, D?
My
I
goodness.
guess we'll go back to the previous segment really quick.
Yeah. Let's go back. Let's circle back.
there we go.
I get the struggles. Obviously, new head coach, new system, but I think you can't fall no harder than getting blanked by the Saints. What happened last week, and what you think is going to happen moving forward?
All right. So what happened last week was the Saints' defensive game plan was that was the problem, and I think the coaching staff wasn't expecting it. Because if you go back and watch, they was trying to do a double-A gap blitz every play, but if it was like they was reacting. If it was run, they blitz. If it was a pass, then they all dropped back, and they was getting pressure with four linemen. And then you had Derek Carr, who's having back issues and probably shouldn't have played, but that man goes through everything. Devontae Adams was sick with the flu all week. Waller still ain't playing, MIA. Hunter Renfrow, I don't know what's going on with him. I think he's still suffering from his concussion because he ain't looking like himself. And then if you can't get the run game going, then the pass game ain't gonna do nothing.
So Kamara wasn't an issue.
So Carr pulled a Mike Tyson. Broke my back.
I mean, he was on the injury report all week for his back.
So the only part of the Saints team that was an issue was the defense. Kamara ain't had nothing to do with it.
I mean, our defense is trash. It's been trash. And
I was
Chandler
about to say,
Jones,
their defense ain't did nothing all year.
it ain't did shit. and I mean, Chandler Jones ain't showed up from Arizona yet.
I don't. Let's quickly revisit the preseason predictions that we had in this group for the AFC West. DD, you had Raiders, Chargers, Chiefs, or Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, correct?
Something like that.
Something like that. Where did you have the Raiders, Fleck?
I can't remember where I had the Raiders, but I know I got that division all wrong because I had the Chiefs in last place.
I don't even know I'm talking to you. I don't know I'm talking to you. Jimmy, what you?
I think I had the Raiders like 2, maybe 1 or 2. I think I had it Raiders. I had Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs.
The reason I brought that up is because, like you said, prediction-wise, it's not only us. I think the rest of America had this division
Running
as
rough.
one of the strongest,
as the best division ever. Yeah. And that's not what we got. We got them with the NFC South, where it's the Chiefs and everybody else.
Right.
So the disappointment, I'm asking for the panel, including you, DD. The disappointment of the Chargers. What's going on there? Russell Wilson, what the heck is going on there? And we're not even talking about the Chiefs. We're not even talking about the Chiefs. They're way ahead.
So
what's going on with the Chiefs? Chargers and Broncos in relations, and if you want to throw in the Raiders as well, for you guys.
All right, who you want to answer first? You want
let the special guest talk first.
Octa D? All right, let's go Octa.
Okay, I'll admit my Raiders, I got a little over anxious because of what we did last year, and then McDaniels. But I think that system's gonna take more time because he's game planning and trying to fit the system into the players into the system. I think that's our biggest issue. And then of course our defense is trash. But with the Chargers, I try to tell y'all they gonna charge it up. But I think part of theirs is again injuries. They cannot stay healthy for nothing.
Stay healthy, right?
Everybody, their starting left tackle was hurt. Keenan Allen's been MIA all year. Now you got J.C. Jackson ain't played but maybe one game.
Mike Williams hurt now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it happens every year with the Chargers, and the coach ain't helping them any. I mean, he's still making terrible decisions. And then with the Broncos, I did tell y'all on the prediction show, the quarterback was the biggest issue they had, and it's showing because Russell Wilson don't even look good.
But that's on Russell Wilson a lot too. Like, yes, that line is kind of suspect too, but Russ, he's not looking like Russ. Like he hasn't looked like the Russ we know from Seattle all year.
He's not running. Russell Wilson is not running whatsoever.
I think he's more worried about his image now than he is about playing football.
I'm getting a lot of people asking though, is Russell Wilson a system quarterback? Is he a product of Pete Carroll and the system that was being run in Seattle?
I mean, it could very well be that. Look at what Geno's doing in that system now.
Right. And honestly, if you look, it's a lot of players in the league that have been system players, because you look at the Saints receivers under Sean Payton. As soon as they left and went somewhere else, they didn't do nowhere near the numbers. Maybe Brandon Cooks, but yeah, Jimmy Graham. You had I think the Dante something, the one who went to the Browns and hit somebody in the car and murdered them or something. The Stalwart, that's his name. And then you have I don't know the people names. And then you have all these folks that leave and don't really amount to what they were doing under Sean Payton. So I know system players are, players that only fit into one type of system is real, but what's the hold up to learning a new system?
But
I guess it goes to what Rob just said. Why wouldn't, and I don't think it's the OC. Why wouldn't the coach adjust the offense to fit Russell Wilson's skill set?
Let me add on to your, hold on, Jimmy. Let me add on to your question and involve our guest here.
Okay.
New system with the Raiders, right? Why is Josh Jacobs succeeding, which he is, exceeding expectations, but nobody else is?
Josh Jacobs playing for his next contract.
That, and you got to think, so you got Devontae Adams, who they're focusing on. You go back and watch that Saints game, they was double when I was triple teaming them. So that's automatically going to open up the run game, which is what everybody's doing. They're trying to shut down the pass before the run.
That's true, too.
True.
Well, I'm enjoying Josh Jacobs as a fantasy fan. I'm just throwing that out there. But I keep hearing the excuse of no wide receivers. And to me, it's a little bit personal because the Giants ain't had a wide receiver line up all year as I'm watching football, and they're successful. The Ravens haven't had a wide receiver since Lamar Jackson has been out there, and they've been successful. This year, Tennessee doesn't have a wide receiver. He's doing exceptionally well.
Okay,
in Philadelphia.
He's amazing now.
What is Justin Herbert's excuse? That's what I'm leaning to. I'm not leaving Carr because obviously he has the best wide receiver in Devontae Adams. But what is Justin Herbert's excuse to look as bad as he's been looking? He still has Eckler.
Eckler's still there.
I think, and I may be in the minority here, but I think their line ain't that good this year. That offensive line ain't that good this year.
Yeah,
they lost Sean Slater early, the starting left tackle. I think the center got hurt. What's I can't even remember his name, but I think he got hurt. Like that line ain't been that good. I'm not totally saying that Herbert has no issues, but that right there, like, I mean, that line ain't that good right now.
I guess we can call this the mid-season review of the AFC West.
Yeah, we'll call
because we just went all off script.
So no, that was okay.
We did say at the beginning of the season that we were going to do this. So
yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that.
We're fine with it. Hey, look, if nothing else, we're flexible.
I mean, and honestly, I'm pretty sure the producer not gonna cut us off because I kind of know him. He's a cool guy sometimes.
Yeah.
So
sometimes
let me ask you guys a question. Who comes out of the AFC? Period.
Right now, if I had to pick,
Obviously we're all going to pick right now. Our
Buffalo.
prediction for the AFC at this point.
Buffalo.
DD,
Yeah, Buffalo.
Jimmy.
Buffalo a problem, but like Amir said, Kansas City playing out their damn mind. So I'm gonna go with Kansas City.
Buffalo beat Kansas City.
They did, but they ain't gonna be.
They also beat them in the regular season last year too.
Hold up.
They'll do it again.
Hold up. But the biggest difference is right now, if they were to play if the playoffs started right now, they would have to play them in Buffalo.
All right. Still, that's my pick. Don't trample on my pick.
That's
I'm
fine.
not trampling on your pick. I was
You're
Yeah,
trampling.
I think that's
attaching
the
myself to
biggest
it.
thing. I think that's the biggest thing. It being Buffalo. I still had to go through Buffalo, and ain't nobody want to go over there and play in that cold.
No, it's a big deal, but I think these
Playoffs
playoffs
started right now. It ain't
formidable.
cold up there.
These playoffs will be
Good thing it's-
formidable. But you're gonna see Baltimore, Cincinnati, Miami, all these teams in the playoffs, and
I don't
it's
know
gonna
about
come-
Cincinnati.
yeah, it's who. None of these teams you want to play one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Even with Lamar Jackson now and the Ravens give up the booty in the fourth quarter for some reason, you still don't want to play them.
Mm-mm.
You know, because they're that good.
Right.
So I'm definitely going to enjoy the AFC playoffs. Or there's going to be one more hot team. I think they'll be Cincinnati. I think they'll get their crap together eventually, and they'll play ball eventually.
You
How
know,
the Browns gonna be when Deshaun come back?
Well, preseason he didn't do as well, and
and
obviously that was a year off. So now we're talking about a year and a half off. I don't think they should rush Deshaun Watson back in.
right.
I believe he should play, practice for 2 weeks because he hasn't practiced with the team. He can't. When he's suspended, I say bring him in, practice with the ones, keep
He can't for a
Jacoby
week.
Brissett in there who's done a decent job.
Week 10, he can come back and start practicing with the team 3 weeks before. So
I-
that'll give him 3 weeks of practicing before he can actually play. in
They
the
got
game.
they got a bye week as well. So yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll see what Deshaun Watson we get.
Yep.
I don't think anybody remembers NFL Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. No.
Isn't
Nobody.
he allowed to practice right now though?
No, the
No,
week before.
that's
The week before.
It's 3 weeks. It's week 10. He gets 3 weeks before he comes back.
Got you.
He has the previous week, the bye, and then the week he comes back. So he has those 3 weeks.
Right.
Because they didn't trade Kareem Hunt. They kept him because they going all in this year.
Yep.
They thinking Deshaun's gonna ride them into the playoffs.
And
That's
it's
that would
possible
be a mistake.
that remember the 7 teams go in. So
that's crazy talk. I
I don't see Cleveland.
I don't feel like that's gonna happen.
getting it. I don't see
Don't
Cleveland.
rush,
getting
don't
it.
rush that. And Amir, you talking about Cincinnati, getting hot. They're another surprise because everybody said, everybody was looking at it and was like, they fixed what they needed to fix on the offensive line, but Burrow is still sitting on his back. I'm not understanding what they fixed.
They didn't fix it. They
They think it don't
got
matter.
better.
They fixed it on Madden.
It got better, I guess, but it's still broke.
So for me, I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish. My bad.
Think if you break a flower pot and you super glue it back together.
Are you really?
Yes,
where you went with
it's
that?
still, huh?
Are you
That's where
really
you went
giving?
with that?
Are you really giving me the flash treatment? Really? If you break the cup and you put it back together, it's not gonna be fully back together. Still gonna have the crack.
How about you just get a new cup?
And that's what they're gonna have to do. And that's what I was getting at.
No, you know what? I'm going
Eventually, it's
opposite.
gonna have to be replaced.
I am going the opposite way with these next 3 to 4 weeks with Cincinnati. With Jamar Chase off the field, he doesn't have to force it down the field. He can go back and fix what they have with Mixon, who hasn't been the Mixon of fantasy wise the last couple of years. They have to figure out their run game again. They have to figure out Hayden Hurst, which he's gone to Hayden Hurst the last 2-3 weeks heavily. get him in the game with Higgins, Boyd, so when Jamar Chase do come back, they're running as freely as they was when the season ended last year. I think Jamar Chase going down might be a blessing in disguise, honestly.
These next 4 games, though,
I think so.
They got Carolina, who's been playing pretty damn good on defense. They got Pittsburgh, who just got William Jackson. Take that how you will. Tennessee and Kansas City. So
leave that where it's at.
I'm not worried about as far as Cincinnati is concerned. If in my head the way they played last season comes back somewhat without Jamar Chase, obviously, if they can get them back by a Kansas City game, I think they can get their wheels going again towards the postseason. If they figure out what's wrong with them and they have the right, I believe they got the right people ahead of them. Carolina is not going to keep up with them offensively. As good as they can be on the defensive side, they're not going to keep up with them offensively. And Tennessee is another defensive game. That's why I said that they figure out against these strong defenses, because Tennessee's not going to keep up with them on the offensive side.
But they're going to limit them on the defensive side.
No, that's why they're going to figure it out. And I'm confident. If they
not
figure it out.
Jamar Chase.
Without Jamar Chase. That's what I'm saying. If they figure out what the issue is, because the issue is not Jamar Chase, obviously. They need to figure out what the issue is, and these are the right games to do it against tough defenses. Say, okay, we have to work Mixon more. We got to work Hayden Hurst more. Higgins wasn't involved in the offense last week until the fourth quarter. You know, these are things that we see on the outside, and hopefully they can figure it out on the inside.
I think what's working against Cincinnati is they're scheduled to finish the season. They got Tampa Bay, who you guys just got done raving that, you know, hey, this is Brady's time to shine. Let's do this. They got Tampa Bay. They got New England. Bill Belichick's always a tough out. Buffalo and Baltimore. So their season closes on, you know.
Oh, it's definitely tough. That's why they need to figure it out
That's
now.
4 L's right there,
Again,
possibly.
That's why I'm harping on now. If they can't figure it out now, there is no later. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm hoping.
They're 4-4. What would they need?
They got
do they need to get in? They're 4-4 right now.
So at 4-3, the Chargers have that last spot right now. At 4-3.
Right.
So that last spot is either Chargers, Bengals, even the Browns. You know, Didi mentioned it. They're playing for it. I just say the Bengals have to win these next 3-4 games without Chase. They have to. And that way, when Chase comes back, they're good to go. That's what I'm saying. If they don't, then yes, I agree with you. They're done.
Right. I see them possibly splitting those next 4. I think they go into week 13 6-6.
But is he going to be out the full 4 games though?
He's not on the IR.
They didn't put him on IR. They didn't put him on IR, so he can come back anytime before those 4.
So the possibility is there. Another wide receiver that is going back to his team because he didn't get traded is Brandon Cooks. He seems to be a little bit perturbed about not being traded because that's what he wanted. He does not want to be in Houston anymore. Seems like that's the running consensus of the NFL. Nobody wants to be inside of Houston. What's happening over there? If you're not playing baseball, you don't need to be in Houston playing sports. Is that what's going on?
They didn't do bad last night. Obviously, there wasn't a victor, but they didn't. They figured out where the offense runs through and it's Pierce.
Exactly.
You know, even Philip Dorsett got like 60-something yards receiving. You know, so they have something if they go 2 tight end. You know, Pierce in the backfield running for 140-something yards or whatever it was. They have something. Granted, it's not enough for the NFL, but Cooks just thought he's going to be somewhere else.
Right. And
I think Houston figured out their identity last night. Run the ball and pass off of the rim.
I mean, that's
It'll work for them. because teams are going to have to respect Pierce.
Yeah, and that's football 101. You open up the pass. If you don't have a pass game, you open it up with a run game.
But I don't think they quite. I think last night with them in prime time, that showed them, hey, yeah, like Amir said, they came up, short, but they had Philly on the ropes for a minute.
That's
I think Philly in the survivor pool, and I was nervous as hell that first half. I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie. Amir and Jim, y'all can vouch for that. I was nervous. I was nervous.
Okay, I'll vouch. I don't know.
Go ahead, DD. What you gonna say?
I was gonna say that's a good game plan, but I mean, if you can't get behind with it, and that's the problem. Davis Mills turned the ball over, and that was it. They went down there and scored that touchdown. They got behind. They can't run that game plan anymore because they're not a passing come from behind team.
Right.
And their defense ain't gonna carry them.
Yeah. Yeah, you right about that. So, they have an opportunity to build on what they did, and only time will tell. So let's see what they do if they decide to build on
it. They feisty like the Lions.
Like a lion.
Like the Lions. Lions won a lion.
We talked about the Broncos earlier. They just got a new running back. You think he gonna be a factor up there?
Chase Edmonds? No.
Yeah. They just need to go back to the drawing board. Whatever. They just need a new coach. I don't like the coach they have.
He needs to show that he can be flexible.
Like, I mean, he had to hire an assistant.
I don't see any adjustments to his game plan.
He needs to show that he's a head coach, because anytime somebody asks you a question about what's going on with the team and you say you don't know, you need to ask the quarterback. But you're not letting the quarterback be the quarterback. You threw Russell under the bus because y'all didn't know. Neither one of y'all knew to call a timeout. I don't understand that.
So is that a disconnect with head coach
and $300 million star quarterback? Yeah, that they should have had a conversation as soon as Russ got off the bus or off the plane. However he got down there, that conversation should have been had immediately.
Well, you can't talk to Russell Wilson on the plane because he's working out on the plane,
right?
So you can't talk to him, obviously.
That's why I said as soon as we get off the plane and we go have a conversation. What kind of offense you like to run? These are the plays that I'm thinking about. What do you like? What don't you like? Let's formulate this game plan before the season starts. Let's get it going. But Russ get up in there talking about, what do you say? Let's ride. Is that what the Cowboys?
So are the Broncos? I mean, obviously, I think we're probably in consensus that they're probably not going to make the playoffs.
No, and you mentioned it earlier. I'm looking at from week 13 on: Ravens, Chiefs, Cardinals, Rams, Chiefs, Chargers.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with a no.
They gonna get their heads.
I think we're in consensus that they're probably not going to make the playoffs. So they traded their defense. We didn't even talk about that when we talked about the Dolphins earlier. Bradley Chubb going to the Dolphins.
Yes, we
did. Getting a 5-year, $100 million extension.
Yes, we did.
We talked about the extension?
Yes.
Where was I at?
I don't know.
Okay, my bad. I missed that. I don't remember us talking about it. I remember you mentioned it briefly about a trade, but I didn't.
No, the conversation has shifted to Tua and Super Bowl.
Right.
We just
it shifted immediately. Part. So I brought it up, but then somebody started talking about Tua. He wearing a black and pink hat. But
me? I didn't say anything. I wasn't the one that brought up Tua.
I know. I just felt like throwing it back to you because you said we didn't talk about it, so I had to throw it back to you some kind of way. That's what we do, right? That's what the show's about. Just throwing it back to you. Oh, that's messed up. But anyway, yeah, Bradley Chubb went there. Nick Chubb is still where he is, so the Chubb boys are doing things and they're getting paid.
You missed a perfect segue. You just
I did.
Speaking of,
he threw me all the way
of messing up, how about them Lakers? You missed a perfect segue.
Oh, he ain't finna talk about the Lakers.
Well, I was gonna talk about Naeem Hines to the Bills first, but yeah, let's talk about the Lakers and the Pelicans.
They ain't nothing to talk about. They suck.
Nothing.
I don't know what I don't know what the hell was going on. I was like, ugh. Yeah, the Lakers is tragic. And you know the crazy part? Everything, the only thing the Lakers have to celebrate right now is Ryan. What the boy name is? Ryan somebody. What was
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Matt Ryan. He hit
not the Indianapolis Colts, Matt Ryan.
Right.
He got benched from football and decided to shoot some threes.
they don't talk about they won the game. They talk about Matt Ryan hit a game-tying three-pointer to go to overtime. That's the only celebratory they have.
If he doesn't hit that three, they don't win the game.
Right, but
they lose the regulation.
But you won the game.
The Pelicans blew that game.
They did. Well, no, the Pelicans had to come back because the Pelicans was down by like 15.
But they were up.
They were up by 3.
When LeBron missed that turnaround and they ran it out and dunked it instead of running out those last 7 seconds.
Right.
They won the game.
You're absolutely right. But they had a 3-point lead. Dyson Daniels got fouled, missed both free throws. Then what the other boy name is from last year? Trey Murphy. He decided, I don't need to play defense on 3-point line. They're gonna come up in here to try to shoot it too. And
he contested the 3.
Yeah, finally.
He just hit a crazy circus 3. Like that was
he should have been over there though. That's
I get that.
Just smart defense. You down by 3. I don't care if you hit a 2. You down by 3. So you can do everything you want in the paint. Bye.
He said bye.
Do your thing. But yeah, I don't but that's what I was getting at. You won the game, but the only thing you have to celebrate is that he hit a game tying 3 to go to overtime. I don't understand y'all.
Let's go to the other coast. Steve Nash out. Ime Udoka possibly in.
The writing was on the wall for that. Everybody knew that was about to happen. So are y'all really surprised that he got fired?
I am.
No.
I'm gonna tell you why I'm surprised before you get into. I don't mean to cut you off from here. I'm gonna tell you why I was surprised by it. Because you fire him after a 2-5 start, but KD was pushing that all summer. So was that your way of saying, okay, KD, we're not listening to you. We're not oh shit, maybe you were right. Let's get rid of him.
And if you notice, right after they fired him, the owner was like, "We're not trading Kevin Durant." Anybody?
Well, he did that. He did that for the league's sake, because his phones are blowing up. They thought the team was going to implode, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But to piggyback on what you said, Fleck, yes, this summer it started with Durant said either him or me. That's how the summer started.
Right.
And then whenever they found Kyrie, because he disappears, somehow he was like, "We don't need no coaches, so I don't care." That was his quote. Kyrie was like, "This team doesn't need any coach, period." And then that just another mountain to climb.
I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, the writing was definitely on the wall with Nash being fired, especially when you got a team full of superstars and you go 2-5, and Ben Simmons is just collecting a paycheck at this point. Because he doesn't even know what his purpose is.
What is happening with that guy?
What he was known for coming in was his defense. Defense, and then it was ball handling, and then it was his little layups, jumper, his not even mid jumpers, but
it was never a jumper. It was never.
He's doing none of that.
Kyrie is screaming at him.
Thing in college.
He can lay the ball up.
Go ahead, Didi.
Go ahead, Didi.
Ben Simmons did the same thing in college. Like he signed to commit to NC State, and then at the last minute changed. I want to go to LSU, and then he gave up when it got into when it came to crunch time. It's the same guy.
He definitely did.
Same guy.
Definitely disappointing.
So Nash out. Udoka's coming or possibly coming in. Like this team loves drama. Like let's figure out what he got going on before we bring him in, right?
But the thing is, with Udoka coming in, I don't think it's not drama outside of that organization. See, it's drama in the organization. That's why the organization is the ones who suspended him. The NBA didn't do nothing because he didn't do nothing to violate the NBA's policies. He did something to violate the Boston Celtics policies, so they suspended him. So if they let him go, I mean,
I think what I meant by drama is, as soon as he's available, that's going to be the first thing the media is going to talk about.
Yeah,
What happened in Boston? Can you talk about what happened in Boston?
And he's not gonna talk about
organization. Therefore, that's coming to the Nets organization.
I still think it has something to do with the VP's wife or daughter, but that's me. But yeah, they gonna bring that circus there, and he gonna come there with the circus, and they gonna have to see how they handle it. And you already Ben Simmons as last game he was on the bench, he wasn't playing, he was in street clothes. Now you don't have Kyrie because he shared something on Twitter.
And we don't touch religion, politics,
right,
those type of things here.
But I looked into what it was he shared. I understand the premise and the reason why he shared it, but he didn't look into what it was he was sharing before he shared it.
He didn't fact check it.
Right. And that's why, because I know you said you was riding with him until he issued the apology, and the reason he issued the apology is because he found out the facts about the actual movie and where some of the stuff came from, and that's why people were mad, because some of the stuff came from these areas that could be considered anti-Semitic, and that's why he issued the apology.
Do you really believe that?
Come on now.
He issued an apology to try to get getting suspended.
Right.
There you go.
Right. No, I get that, but I'm, the whole thing, like the subject matter, I get the subject matter, but the places they got the information from, yes, that's terrible off-base places, but we don't talk about that type of stuff on this show because we're a family fun show, so that's what we do.
I'm gonna say
that we stay away from religion and politics.
Yeah, we ain't got time for that.
I'm gonna say the organization is just trying to save face right now.
Yeah.
For the same reason that Ime Udoka has not been hired this quickly, because they're still trying to battle or take out the battle these fires first. Let's make sure. I guarantee you, Kyrie didn't share that one thing. He didn't even quote it. He didn't even make a post about it. He just shared the movie like it was Wakanda Forever in Kyrie's eyes.
He just shared it.
He just shared it. I'm not defending Kyrie. I'm just saying, in my opinion, he just shared this movie because it said what it said.
Right.
He didn't open it. He didn't know what the movie's about. He didn't know how bad it could have been, how great. He don't even know if it's Oscar worthy. He doesn't know any. He didn't know any of that. What I'm saying is, if that hadn't been shared, Ime Udoka would have been on the bench tonight in Brooklyn or wherever they're playing. But they're like, okay, one thing at a time.
Thank you. And that's all I was saying.
Yeah. As the Nets organization, they're just saying, let's just fix this before we have to go through the fire with that.
Right. Right.
And that's why that guy's still getting paid by Boston.
Absolutely.
That part.
The problem is, though, their list of things they got to handle starts here and just keeps going before they even get there, because it's always one thing after another.
It get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, you just keep adding those to it.
And that's what I meant by more drama in the organization.
Right. Yeah. They just bring in the circus with them. And I mean, some people can thrive in that. Some people they go falter. So we'll see.
The Nets have shown that they can't strive with
exactly
with adversity. And as you can see, KD is probably on Twitter right now in his ghost handles trying to deflect. And that's who he is. He's sensitive. You talk about him. And I love KD. At one point in his career, I thought he was the best player in the world.
Right.
But obviously he's not.
I'll tell you what.
The Nets just can't handle adversity. And their players can't. They just can't. And that's why they either got to start over or they got to battle this fire together, bond together, hopefully make the playoffs, and figure it out by the time, like they tried to last year before they got swept by the Celtics. I'll throw that out there for you Boston fans, But outside of that, that's your towel, sir.
They need to do something.
Two-ply.
And
that's two-ply in my house.
And KD, what the hell is that trash? And KD need to learn how to talk to a brush, because that just gets on my nerves. Shave it off or brush it. I don't know why you got to walk around with them knots in your head, sir. Some of the things that's going on in the NBA, James Harden is out for 4 weeks.
Yep.
So he'll come back over 300 pounds because that's what James Harden does. Snacks has been doing stuff. You got Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones coming back tonight for the Pelicans, but they will be playing a Warriors team with no Steph, no Clay, no Draymond, and no Jordan Poole. So I mean, what's the point?
I mean, they just lost to the Magic last night.
After being up by 20 something.
Yeah, they went 0 for 4 this week, so they kind of in shambles right now too. But they still the Golden State Warriors, and they can still turn it on when they turn it on. So I don't think anybody is too worried about them turning it on. It's just when they turn it on. So,
and I think something else that's being overlooked. Yes, it's still early, but I mean the Bucks are 7-0.
Yeah, the Bucks is ridiculous. They
So let me ask you guys a question that goes to all of you, including you, DD.
You on the show?
Clippers, Warriors, Lakers at the bottom of the West, right?
Right.
Not necessarily all the way at the bottom, but they're at the bottom. Nets and Sixers are moving. They're finally getting their crap back together. Who rises to the top in that group of the bottom dwellers that we all thought were superstars?
The Warriors.
I don't think the Warriors stay at the bottom.
Yeah, the Warriors.
San Antonio is overachieving.
Mm-hmm.
I think they come back to earth a little bit.
Yeah, I think the Clippers will make a move.
The Clippers, once they get their pieces working together, I think they'll go back up. But to answer your question, for me, Golden State.
Golden State will move, and Brooklyn will start moving too once they start getting stuff.
I don't know. I don't know about Brooklyn.
They dysfunctional, but I think once they start ironing things out and get the coach they want in there, I feel like they'll start moving.
But
they'll come out of the bottom. They'll still make the playoffs.
I think with me, because the owner came out and like publicly
denounced,
bashed on Kyrie, and Kyrie is kind of volatile. You know what I mean? So like, is he gonna come in and want to even be there?
Right.
Like I don't see things getting too much better for the Nets because they still got Ben Simmons on their team too.
Oh God.
I got more faith in the 76ers than the Nets.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, the Sixers are definitely turning it up. So yeah, but are the Sixers toward the bottom? That was one of the teams you named.
No, I mean, they're like 8th in the East right now.
Yeah, Sixers are 8th at 4-5.
Yeah,
and I think they'll play even better without Harden because the ball will go through Embiid.
Yeah,
as long as Embiid stays healthy, obviously he's MVP quality, top 2, top 3 ball player. So I think 76ers will be fine because they're used to getting the ball through Embiid. They were fine before Harden. They'll be fine after Harden. The issue with that squad is what Harden do you get in the playoffs? That's why they can't win.
Right.
That's why Harden can't win, period, because Harden disappears in the playoffs. But that's another conversation for another day. One team that we haven't discussed too much, and I guess we'll give 2 minutes on, is the Cleveland Cavaliers, 6-1.
Bro,
yeah, they balling too.
I was literally that team was just in my head. You need to stay out of my head, sir, because it's not.
They're balling too. And they got a lot of young pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So they're only going to get better.
Right.
You know what I mean? They got a lot of young pieces, so they're only going to get better.
Young pieces that don't know no better and just want to play ball.
Right. And then LeBron's going to want to take his talents back to Cleveland.
Yeah. You
trade all the young talent away.
So it's safe to say that they're the East Coast version.
Draft picks.
Ridiculous.
Cleveland is the East Coast version of the Memphis Grizzlies.
That's a good analogy, yeah.
I'll take it.
Because Memphis does have a lot of young. That's a great analogy.
I'll allow it.
Portland's looking good out west too.
As long as Dame Lillard stays healthy, he's always going to carry that squad.
Yeah, Dame stays healthy, he'll carry him.
Phoenix, they're doing their thing, but I think they only lost once. Who else is exceed Utah? Did we see Utah playing as good as they've been playing?
Right.
I think they're in the top 3 or 4 out west.
And you know the crazy part? Utah, they started off undefeated, didn't they? Yeah, and they were still
3-0.
And they were still sitting there talking about, oh well, we're still working on a trade with the Lakers. Why?
Yeah, well, it's still on the table. They're trying to get under that. They're trying to get rid of Mike Conley's contract. They're really trying to get rid of Mike Conley's
but
contract.
he's not one that they're looking at trading.
Well, they're trying to add Bogdanovich as well.
Yeah, they're trying
And
to.
Bogdanovich is one of the reasons they're.
Pieces.
Yeah, Bogdanovich is one of the reasons they're good. He's always been good.
Right.
You know, he's been a solid 2010 guy always. You know, he's not MVP worthy, but he gets you 20 every night. No issues. You know, once you get rid of a Rudy Gobert, that's what like is mind-boggling. Then they turn around and got rid of Donovan Mitchell. And now Colin Sexton is balling. He's doing what he was doing. So Utah have a lot of young pieces. Yep. They're just trying to get rid of these big contracts of Conley and Bogdanovich so they can really start over. And they're just shocking the world being as good as they are because they have young pieces just as much who's trying to prove themselves in the NBA.
They're trying to prove themselves and prove themselves to the league. So let's switch gears because we're talking about people trying to prove themselves, right? Jake Paul, you know, he's still trying to prove himself in the world of boxing. He beat Anderson Silva this past weekend. Now, I done seen some stuff come out saying, oh, it was fixed and he didn't even hit him and he went down.
I mean, that's not the first time they said that.
I think for me, until you know how I feel about both of them, Pauls, him and his brother. You know how I feel about both of them.
Right?
I don't like neither one of them.
I don't either. I hate them. And I don't even use that word often, but I hate both of them. But I strongly dislike. I'm not even going to say hate. I strongly dislike both of them. Until Jake Paul fights somebody that's not collecting a Social Security check,
right?
I don't. It's irrelevant. That's the word for me for him. He's irrelevant.
Until he fights an actual boxer, he's irrelevant.
I need to see him fight somebody his age, because then he'll go find freaking 80-year-old Evander Holyfield or somebody, and I fought a boxer.
I can tell you one boxer that he not gonna call out of retirement. I guarantee you he gonna call Mike Tyson. Go ahead, call him, Jake. Please do it. I you know what? If you call Mike Tyson out of retirement, I'll pay to watch that fight because I don't care about none of your fights. I haven't tuned into not one of them. But if you call Mike Tyson, I will be right there in front of TV like that.
That fight he had with Roy Jones. That fight he had with Roy Jones was a bad fight. He needs to stay in retirement. Both Roy Jones, who's still an active fighter,
I don't know why Roy
and
Jones
Mike Tyson came out of retirement.
I don't know why Roy Jones.
I watched that fight, and that fight was not good whatsoever.
Yeah, but until Jake Paul fights somebody his age, I could care less.
He was trying to call out Canelo Alvarez, and then he took that back real quick, and he went to Nate Diaz.
He don't want none of that.
He's gonna make Nate Diaz knock him out.
He tried to call both of them out at the same time.
Yep.
So I'm sure Diaz will take that fight just because he's done with UFC, he's done with MMA. Diaz will take that fight. I can see that fight happening in a year or two. Canelo won't take that fight until he's done actively boxing.
Right.
That's the reason why Mayweather took the fight with Logan Paul. Which that one was a horrible mismatch.
Dumb.
But I'm impressed with his conditioning. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell he is taking boxing seriously. Right. I give him that. But yes, until we actually see an active boxer. But the backlash to that is the active boxer can lose whatever they got going on.
Right.
In that fight, because it's not going to be, sponsored by WBO, WBA, IBF, and all of them. So there's still going to be a circus show until Jake Paul decides to enter the WBA and WBO ranks.
So when you say that they can lose, what do you mean by they can lose? Like,
so they can actually lose their license to box.
Because they take the unsanctioned?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Anderson Silva had to get a special provision to fight in Arizona because he couldn't fight nowhere else. Like, these guys got to get a license to box. Or they got to get a license for UFC. They got to get a license because they have to clear protocol and things of that nature. Mainly because Jake Paul is trying to use his record of 6-0 that he is now as a leverage later on when he fights 20 tomato cans and old people. He's like, you know what? I earned a title fight. Oh, okay, you earned a title fight by going 20-0, but he's going the right way about it. These people got to get licensed to fight because these fights actually count. So if a regular boxer wants to take the fight, they got to go through all these protocols and quite possibly might lose their place in the WA because they're not sanctioning these fights. WBA, WBO, IBF, they're not. They're not touching it. They're not touching Logan Paul.
Right.
Jake, they're not touching them.
Right.
Yet. I can see it down the line if the guy decides to go 20-0. They might say, you know what? Come on. You might see the new Don King of America try to put something together.
Right.
But for now, if a professional boxer wants to fight him, they risk losing their status of where they're at.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Because they're being sanctioned. They're just not sanctioned by the people that count.
Right. Okay.
Well,
Got you.
the way to fix that is have him actually go and try and be a professional instead of stop doing these amateur
But he's not.
fake fights. Yeah, exactly. Because he gonna get exposed real quick.
And that's all I'm waiting on.
Yep. Go get your license and then join the ranks.
Yep.
Yeah. But again, I'm impressed by his conditioning because he is taking it serious. I give him that. We don't know if the fights are fixed. We can obviously, have our opinions about it. It does seem suspect, yes, especially when he tapped his chest and beat Woodley like, hey, now's the time to take that punch. And
Silva went down without.
If Anderson Silva didn't go down, you might have seen a draw on the cards. We don't know, So, but again, we're going to speculate because it is a debacle in itself. So we're always going to speculate until he becomes legit and fights somebody legit and puts that all together. Then we go like, oh, okay, sure,
right. And you talking about the fix in people cheating and tapping the chest and all of that stuff. Let's talk about the Houston Astros. Because when that was 17 when they got caught, and the guy came when we was in New Orleans and we was over there watching the stuff. You saw it on the thing, and you was telling us, you was pointing out to us that he did that. Right now they up 3-2. Do they pull it off? Do they keep it going? Do they go ahead and win and get Mattress Mac that $75 million?
And I know once Amir gets in on this, he's gonna get passionate about
it. So we're gonna start with Fleck and Quad D because Amir, you go last because
I'll let my brother DD get in there.
I'm gonna go with yes, just off of their pitching. Because their bats is hot too, just like Phillies is, but their pitching is kind of keeping Philly down a little bit, just enough to get the win. So I'm gonna go with yeah. I think they do it next game.
Yeah,
and I'm with DD. I think they go ahead and close it out. They had like DD said, their pitching has been pretty good these last couple of games. They had that one hiccup in game 3. Where they gave up the 5 home runs, I think it was.
They gave up 5 home runs, but then the next game they came.
They pitched the combined, and that's what I was getting at. Their pitching is coming together at the right time. So yeah, I think they close it out. Game 6 in Houston to win their second World Series.
All right, Amir.
I'll keep it short because I do agree with both of you. Reason being. They have to win game 6 because they won't win game 7. You heard it here first. They go 7, they lose. And I'm gonna tell you why. Game 6, you got Aaron Nola, who will keep the game close. He's their ace, and you got the guy who broke the record for quality starts in Framber Valdez with Houston. If they can keep the game close or tied going to the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, even though this has been the second best bullpen in the history of bullpens in the World Series. The best is the 1990 Cincinnati Reds. It's going to be tough. But this game is 3-2, 2-1, 2-2, 3-3, going into the 7th, 8th, 9th inning. I believe the Phillies will win it because they have to. And then they can win game 7 because Lance McCullers is their worst pitcher they got. And that's what they got for game 7. He has not been able to get anybody out. This is quite possibly he might just go in there for 2 innings to take him out because they know he's a liability on that mound. So it's gonna be a bullpen game for Houston, game 7, and that's not what they're used to. So their backs will be against the wall. Now, I do believe they will close out on 6. That is my gut feeling. I believe they will win 4-2, 3-2, like they have been the entire playoffs. If you look at all their games been close because of that bullpen. And the Framber Valdez just gives up 2-3 runs, and the Phillies just lay a goose egg, then they're done. But if it's a tie game and Phillies end up edging it out somehow in game 6, they will take game 7.
And like you said with McCullers, he was the they were saying that he might have been tipping his pitches.
He did. He had 2 different winding motions, which is the worst kind of tipping. Usually when you tip pitches, your hand goes a certain way. It's either in or out or something. And you'd be like, okay, that's a slider coming in. That's a curveball going over. He wasn't even doing that. His leggy motion was higher on slow pitches, shorter on fast pitches. And it was so obvious. They're like, and they kept him in for so long. So it was like, okay, fastball coming up, home run. They was calling it in the dugout. You saw them.
Yeah, Bryce Harper called over.
Hey, this about to be a home run. Fastball, down the middle, home run. He was tipping his pitches based upon his delivery.
Bryce Harper called over I can't remember who it was in the on-deck circle, and Bryce Harper called him over, and then he went up there and hit a home run.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, if he's showing it to you, you better take it. You'll be a
so if they start McCullers game 7. It's a short time to fix something like this because something like this can be fixed in a couple of days because it's a pattern, a habit, or whatever they say. So, but that's why if they go to game 7, they're in trouble. So Houston has to close it out here in game 6, and it's in Houston. So
it's in Houston.
Who's pitching in game 6 again?
Framber Valdez, who's been lights out for Houston, even though he did struggle just a little bit. But he's given them enough quality start, 6 innings, less than 3 runs. He's been dominant as far as that is concerned. He did it 27 straight times, something like that in regular season, which is the record. And then Aaron Nola for the Phillies, who's their ace. So if I'm going to game 7, Zach Wheeler over Lance McCullers, I'm going to take Zach Wheeler in game 7. But obviously, we got to focus on game 6. And if Framber Valdez does just enough, and Phillies are full of lefties. And Framber Valdez is a lefty, so that they're going to give him trouble.
So, like y'all, I think Mattress Mac is about to get his money in after game 6, and that'll be all she wrote. Did anybody win any tacos? Did they have a stolen base?
Yes, Cal Schwarber did steal a base. I think it was today.
Today? Damn it! I missed the
taco day was today, I believe.
Missed the damn tacos again.
But you only could do it through the app, which is weird. They try to push the app out. Like you have to order on the app and they go pick it up.
Well, I'm tired of Taco Bell. I'm tired of that. Tell Devontae Adams, let me get one in my house. We got Taco Bells. We got Taco Bells in the house. All right, one last thing real quick. Y'all know what is it this weekend, Amir? We got Crown Jewel this weekend?
Tomorrow at noon.
WWE premium live event, because they don't call them pay-per-views anymore because you don't pay to watch them. They are on Peacock, so they call them premium live events. Tomorrow is Crown Jewel. They are over in Saudi Arabia. We got a few predictions. I mean, we shouldn't really do predictions because we know no championship is going to change hands over there. But you got Roman Reigns against the other Paul, who everybody just knows he's going to smash him. I don't know what's happening with 2 belts. Who you got out of that?
Roman Reigns is not going to lose his title in Saudi Arabia. Like you said, you already spoiled it for everybody. He's not going to lose it in Saudi Arabia.
I just wanted to ask, just see y'all faces. All right, you got the Usos. They're taking on the Brawling Brutes for the universe for the undisputed tag championships. You have Bianca Belair taking on Bayley for the Raw Women's title.
Last woman standing match, by the way.
Last woman standing. Who y'all got out of that one?
I think I'm now when I see wrestling these days, I'm always looking for the swerve. I'm always looking for what can happen, what will happen, who could come out of nowhere, things of that nature. And I think this match, if there's ever a swerve needed, is the women's title. They tried to do it a couple weeks ago with freaking crazy lady. I forgot her name. And it just didn't work. Nikki Cross. It just didn't work, because what did they do? Not only did she come out, she lost the very next week in a one-on-one match. How do you do that? How do you bring somebody out? It's like you lose. Like now you're irrelevant again.
Right.
So if anybody needs a swerve or change of scenery or something going on in the division, it's definitely the women's division of WWE.
I don't think they're gonna take it from Bianca just yet. I think they're trying to save that for maybe a returning Charlie or a returning Naomi or Sasha. We'll see what happens with that. You also have Drew McIntyre against Karrion Kross. Now this one don't have a title on the line, so this is all about pride and things like that, because Karrion Kross has had Drew McIntyre in his crosshairs since he came back with the haircut and everything else. So who do you see coming through with that one?
If I am a WWE writer, I have to put Karrion Kross over. You don't debut new characters, new people for them and book them to lose right away.
Right.
You just don't. If he's going to lose, it has to be for the title and nothing else.
Yeah, because you
build
him up to be a monster right now. So
yeah, and unfortunately, it's under Drew McIntyre is going to have to do what Seth Rollins has been doing all these years, and that's building these other people up and taking L's and then getting a victory when you can. But when Seth Rollins loses, it's not a big deal because he's still Seth Rollins,
right?
And Drew McIntyre is going to have to be the next Seth Rollins, take a bunch of L's to build up the brand of these new people, and then figure it out later when he beats, say, Gunther or Walter, whatever you call it, for any kind of title. That's how you reward somebody like Drew McIntyre. Let him lose, beat Walter for the Intercontinental title. Here you go, make this prestigious again. And
right now, and speaking of Seth Rollins, it's a rumor out there that he will have an open challenge match in Saudi Arabia. Who do you see answering the call on that?
Probably Austin Theory.
Yeah, they've been beefing. I don't know why, but only because they have set that up.
Right.
They have set that up. I don't see how that works because I don't think they know what to do with Austin Theory at all. They have no idea. Well, Triple H has no idea. Why did Vince build this guy up just for me to tear you down?
Right.
But the kid is good. Don't get me wrong. He's good. But the issue is he got too good too fast where now he has nowhere to go but down.
Right.
Because he's not good enough to be a title holder. He's not that good to be a title holder, but he's not bad to.
I think what screwed him was Vince leaving.
Yeah. It definitely
did. Was Vince's guy. I think where he's at now is where he should have been. He shouldn't have never won Money in the Bank, first off, because he wasn't ready. He's not ready for that. He's gonna waste. I think that they're trying to say there's a rumor going around that he may cash in on the NXT champion, which
or he that what else was supposed to happen last week, or he may not cash in.
I have no idea why he showed up on the show.
Right.
He didn't even show up on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, he didn't come back the next night. But
he didn't show up on Halloween Havoc.
So
I got to see if he just stood there, something.
Right.
They don't know what to do with him.
And the next question is, will they amend the contract to say he can go for any championship? So then now you can.
They already did.
They did.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna go for.
That's the reason why he showed up on NXT.
Right.
NXT,
he had to verbally say he can go everywhere.
Well, no, I'm saying not just the one.
Oh, you saying like a mid card belt too?
Yeah, big card belt, because you got the IC, US, North American.
And this ain't any belt, because when he mentioned he could take Seth Rollins' title, and that's what I'm saying is a weird how they try to include him in that. But
I think again that's Triple H trying to fix Vince's mistake, because he's obviously not going to cash in on Roman Reigns, not successfully anyway. I mean, for me, that would be the best that would be their best bet is for him to try to cash in on Roman Reigns and lose. That way you get the case off of him.
I think the best case scenario for him where it won't really knock him down too much is if you try to cash in at NXT, but you don't win. Since they're still using NXT as the developmentals, you don't win, but it don't knock you down with the main roster.
But that would knock him down though. Like you're money in the bank and you can't even go back and win the NXT championship. Like that would knock it. NXT is supposed to be the minor leagues. That would be like Aaron Judge going back down to the minors and then getting struck out 12 straight times.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the thing that would help him save face by losing would be for him to try to cash in on Roman Reigns. The Usos stomp him out or something. Roman Reigns pins him. He loses the case. That way he's not carrying that case around anymore.
Right.
Get that case off of him.
Yeah.
Then let him chase a mid-card title. Let him go after Seth Rollins and the Intercontinental title. Or my bad, the US title.
He definitely need to get that case off him. And the other question that I have, since we're talking about the mid-card titles, when are we going to see Solo Sikoa bring another title to the bloodline? Because that's their whole thing is the whole bloodline draped in gold, but Solo don't have nothing.
That went out the window when they included Sami Zayn.
Right, exactly. And
there's not enough titles to go around.
And not even that. I think now we're about to see titles start coming off of the bloodline.
Right. I agree.
You know what I mean? Because you got a double champion that's hardly ever at work. The Usos are doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? They're but I mean, eventually they're going to get burnt out from, having to do so much across two shows.
Right. Like
it's time to split those titles back up.
I think Survivor Series will be the best time to do so, because you got to look at there. If I know Triple H, he's going to make everybody defend the titles twice, probably in the same show. So in other words, you guys want to be dual champions, you'll have two dual championship matches. Nope. So Survivor Series might be that term Survivor.
Right.
Like, can they survive
for SmackDown?
The bloodline survive Survivor Series.
Right.
If I'm a writer, that's what I'm going with.
Right. I don't see Roman Reigns doing it.
Now,
Usos, I can very well see
that
happening with the Usos. I don't see Roman Reigns. I see Triple H trying to pull that, and then Roman Reigns is like, "Do you know who I am?" Some type of thing like that right there, to where
it's possible that Roman Reigns might want to take Christmas off and then show back up with one title, and that would set up the championship match of the winner of the Royal Rumble, and now we're back to normal.
Right.
I think he'll drop one to somebody eventually, sooner or later.
Now, the one thing I could see happening for a short-term type thing is WWE puts in, they write it up some kind of way where Roman is mad at Jay, so he tells Jay and Jimmy to give one of the tag titles to Sammy and Solo.
That'll be interesting.
I can see that.
Give them the SmackDown tag titles. Y'all only Raw tag champs.
I can see that. And Sami Zayn, like that dude, he is playing the hell out of that role. That is one of the most entertaining storylines across wrestling.
And then Solo gets in. Now go with me on this one. They'll defend it for like a month and a half, and then Solo gets hurt. Now Sami Zayn either has to relinquish or find another title holder, and boom, Kevin Owens coming.
I can see that too.
Hey.
I can see that happening too.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening.
WWE, I'm available to write.
Look, I'm on their site right now, and they have 3 openings right now. I'm just telling y'all what the truth is. But
Triple H has built that product back up though.
He has, and
it's fun to watch again.
It can only get better. Triple H, I know you watching the show because Triple H
he's a friend of the program.
Yeah, he tunes in quite often. You remember me from Iraq? We was together at Tribute to the Troops. It was me, you, Sean, John, Ray. We was all together. Mark Henry was there. Call me. We can do business. We are late in the hour. and a half. We don't have no. Fleck, you got some liquor over there?
I got a couple of birthday presents still. You know, got the pure white.
Unopened.
Shout out to my boy Amir.
Unopened.
Got the Ciroc passion fruit.
Unopened.
Shout out to my brother Jim.
Got the Lion King.
Got a little bit of Lacer too.
Let's taste it.
And Amir, tell Chachi I still got this.
It's an absolute shame.
Trust me. I have to buy one like it's a Netflix subscription every other week.
Let me tell you something. I'm glad videos and pictures were not taken somewhat that weekend. Somewhat. We gonna leave it. We gonna leave it at that, folks.
We had a good weekend.
We did have a good weekend. We had a fantastic weekend. Look, we gonna leave it right there for now. We thank y'all for coming back and joining us after our brief hiatus. We will be here next Friday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Are we still doing?
Are you gonna do a wrap up?
You'll do the
baseball
wrap up
talk?
show.
I will have an end of the year. Yes, next Thursday.
So next Thursday at 6 Central, 7 Eastern. Tune into my brother's baseball show, the MLB wrap up show, and we'll see y'all next week. I can't find a button. Y'all calm down.